A Gentleman in Moscow Episode 2, An Invitation, furthers Alexander Rostov's story through the holiday season in 1922 Russia, with the show revealing much more about the Count's past. An Invitation builds on the reveals from A Gentleman in Moscow Episode 1 as well as introducing new characters. The episode also establishes new aspects of Moscow's Metropole Hotel that weren't mentioned in the opening installment of the Showtime adaptation of Amor Towles' 2016 novel. Alexander's relationships with various members of the A Gentleman in Moscow cast come under the spotlight, with some connections being heartwarming and others evoking melancholia. Ewan McGregor's Alexander Rostov is a complex character, and it appears as though A Gentleman in Moscow intends to peel back his layers on an episode-by-episode basis. While the show has already revealed why Alexander finds himself imprisoned within the Metropole Hotel, there are certain details that the first episode left out. Although A Gentleman in Moscow Episode 2 fills in certain gaps, it still relies on the audience to read between the lines. However, certain other revelations are much more direct, and open up possibilities for the plot's future while also answering questions about Alexander's younger years. Alexander's world becomes much bigger in A Gentleman in Moscow Episode 2. Count Rostov's living arrangements took an unexpected turn. Alexander's downgrade in lodgings in A Gentleman in Moscow Episode 1, A Master of Circumstance, looked like it was going to be one of the biggest changes when compared with the previous 4 years he'd spent at the Metropole Hotel. While Suite 317 was more than roomy enough for Alexander's needs, his new quarters are notably smaller and less luxuriant. At least, they were before Alexander discovered the secret room beyond his wardrobe. The Narnia-esque reference results in Alexander suddenly having much more space in which to spend his private time. With Nina's assistance, Alexander transforms the new space into a room that approaches the status of fit for a count. While the upgrade would likely land Alexander in hot water if discovered by his jailers, it's a huge morale boost for McGregor's character. If a larger living space wasn't enough, Nina's gift of the hotel skeleton key also means Alexander can reach the roof and get some much-needed fresh air whenever he so desires. That being said, he needs to be careful not to get caught. Sitting on the roof comes dangerously close to breaking the terms of his sentence. 9. Helena is dead, likely due to the Bolshevik uprising. Alexander's sister doesn't seem to have been spared by the violence of the Russian Revolution. A Master of Circumstance was intentionally ambiguous regarding whether Alexander's sister was still alive. However, A Gentleman in Moscow's opening episode strongly implied that Helena had died, and An Invitation confirmed this. While the show still hasn't revealed how Helena met her end, an exchange between Alexander and Mishka suggests that she perished at the hands of the Bolsheviks. A Gentleman in Moscow is set during the Russian Revolution, which began in 1917 and ended in 1923. During this period, members of Russia's ruling class were sought out and killed by members of the Bolshevik Party as they took control of the country. As such, it would make sense that Helena Rostov would have been targeted during this period of political unrest in Russia. It's already been confirmed that Alexander returned to Russia in 1918 to help his grandmother escape to safety, but A Gentleman in Moscow hasn't revealed whether Helena had been killed by that point.